do. Down. Hey, Frost. Get started in a bit. I was in the middle of posting the artwork for Helena and Ray J. Dun. Hope everyone's doing all right. No worries. Thank you for dropping by. Have a good night. Which one? The one about going to bed. Yes, I'm gonna draw her next. And then later down the line, I'm gonna look back at some of the older sets that I've drawn. And the characters that haven't had any main artwork posted, I'm gonna make artwork for them. Cool. Almost done. I can post on Twitter and Blue Sky later. To call me out. Yeah, if only a big, thick bun woman would pick me up and toss my ass to bed when I'm working too late. That would be grand. Alright, so I'll post the rest of this later. Alright, so new. Well, Vagra already has her. Vagra and Venus and Marissa already have their artwork. Where is? Oh yeah, that's your guys's. I need. There you are. Oh, you're going to be fun. Okay. Move this upwards since I have the bad habit of drawing in the middle of the page. And I will be right back. I'm going to go fill up my water bottle real quick. I'm back. Alright, let's draw this character. She is going to be the biggest pain in my ass. Because I was smart and overly designed her. Hi, backwards Viro. I don't know. Why are we fucking around somewhere destroying a planet? Need to clean my screen. Alright. She is going to be interesting to draw. I also need to get back into the habit of drawing characters in action poses rather than them just standing there. Unless I feel like just doing like alternate art in the future. It's been a while since I put anybody in an action pose as their profile. Hello. No, I probably just had my headset next to the fan. Yeah, like the only reason why I stopped drawing them in action poses is so that it would be easier to tell what you were looking at for people who wanted to like draw fan art or just have a better look at their profile. But then it just kind of led to me not drawing them doing anything. They were just standing there so you could fully see them, which is fine because that was kind of the point of a profile pic. But then I rarely ever draw them in action poses outside of like comic stuff or anything that has to do with cards. And let's probably just tilt her head back up this way. Okay. Not so much her head that's the issue, it's the everything else. Howdy. Me standing in an action pose, anything else costs extra. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this slowly. Because when I drew her the first time, it was like fucking layers. Nope, this is not a new adopt. This one was drawn by me. That's how you know that it's a pain in the ass. This one's an original. It's a little bit slimmer than that. Let me catch up on some of the chat. Anything that's just fan art, like the fan comic of Sonic that I did and all that, is likely not going to get any updates for an extremely long time. Because I just have less reason to revisit it, at least at the moment, because I've got my own stuff to work on. That's why characters like Ballad, who were made for the comic, got moved over to World Gates or iHat. Because they're more likely to be used there. Okay, let's see if I can cheat some of this. About there. I just have to draw the rest. I do not want to play guesswork with her pincers or whatever the hell these are supposed to be. Art is a pain in the ass only as much as its artist is. Pretty much. The only things I'm a pain in the ass about is eating, sleeping, and trying not to be a perfectionist, which are all incredibly hard to do. Maybe not so much sleeping, but I'm definitely awake more often than I am getting rest. Now to get these antennae correct. So just gonna take my sweet time. And before I forget, I'm going to make a save file for this, because that would be a smart thing to do. Cheese did Watergate. That really doesn't know. He refuses to label them still. At least her 10 aren't exactly complicated, it's just a matter of spacing. This will be a little bit lower. There we go. Alright, well, we're past the easy part now. The rest is gonna be a why. Why did I do this to myself? I could have just picked an adopt that I already had. Or a character I'd already drawn, but no. I had to pick someone new. I had to do something new just to fit what I was doing. Like, literally, I looked through, like, every character, with the exception of the ones that are still in my folder. And I just was like, nah, none of these are fitting what I'm looking for. I'm just gonna make up a new character. And I started off simple, but then made it fucking complicated. Completely off topic. Don't you hate it when somebody... What's the best way to phrase this? Somebody shares a problem that they tried to have you solve for them, but then decides to not do the thing that would solve their problem, and then tells you not to worry about it, as if they're trying to imply that it's somehow your business and that you're in the wrong or whatever bullshit that they're trying to do. Anyway, that I'm just venting that for a brief moment. I'm gonna go back to drawing this thick-ass plant bug woman, because that will definitely make my day better. When in doubt, draw something thick. Or fat, or whatever, you know, gets you through the universe. Probably. Most likely. Is this one of those scenarios where they ask for help, but then, like, okay, to not exactly say everything, it's just they asked me for money. I said, but they said they could pay me back today, because they asked me this yesterday. They said they could pay me back today because they get paid today, but they needed the money because the thing they needed it for was due today. And I didn't even say no. I just asked them, wait, if you're being paid today, why don't you just use the money you're gonna pay me back for on the thing you needed the money for? Like, if it's all on the same day, then just use it for that. Why are you jumping through an extra hoop by asking me for money? And that's all I asked. I didn't even say yes or no. And they just said, never mind. So now I just got a text from them just saying they didn't bother doing the thing that would have helped them out or whatever. And then they just say, it's not my problem, so don't worry about it. And I'm sitting here going, then why the fuck did you text me? I didn't type that back. I was just like, why would they even text me if they didn't want me to worry about it? And I obviously know it's a fucking manipulation bullshit thing. It's just one of those things I'm venting about. Like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm just in the mentality of like, why'd you go through this? But that will be a future conversation between me and that person, so. What differentiates Stickenscape from the old to new design? She's probably gonna get another rework because I'm not entirely satisfied with her current look. I think I'm gonna aim more to make Sekenseki more godlike and less like the Gadians. Because the Gadians are supposed to be like an offshoot of her to a degree, like a small representation of her. But I don't feel that she looks divine enough for her role. Alright, this is gonna be a bit of a challenge, so I might have to revisit this part later. This character is rather thick as well, but she's definitely got more of a belly. But we're gonna have to... yeah, I'm gonna have to revisit this part. I'm just gonna map it out and then I'll come back to it later. Now this is a character who does not live in Heaven City because she is, well, by their laws she would be a serial killer. By her logic she's just a apex predator because she just hunts down random prey and drains them of their fluids. And then eats the rest. Yeah, she's like, I guess half plant, half bug would be the most accurate, but she's not like a specific plant or a specific bug. She's just whatever the fuck I was thinking about and designing. We're having a lot of batch of thick characters lately. This is the third one, not in a row though, because Helena broke that up a bit, but third thick character in only a few days. And she's got some long ass arms because of her bug side. Or actually, it could be plant side too. She's almost like the equivalent of a bear just walking towards a beehive and just, you know, going ham at it, because it's not like they can stop her. Or like, it's not like bees can stop a bear. So she's like the equivalent of that. Thank you. She's literally one of those scenarios where, like, if you went camping, pray that she doesn't find you, or just happen to come across your campsite. Luckily, she glows, so that's kind of like a nice warning. It's like, oh shit, if you see something pink and glowing in the middle of the woods, you might want to fucking get the hell out of there. And not get her attention. During my jam coffee era. Probably. She gives that same feel. But like, we're still in like the early parts of this design, because there's so much more I gotta draw of her. A lot of this is just mapping out. I think the only part I'm getting technical with so far is her head and her arm right now. Okay. Tim Curry's Demon from Legend. That was a good movie. Okay, now that I'm looking at that horn, it feels a little off. Like it's too close together. It's either too close together or not angled enough. Or I could just be imagining things. It just seems off to me. I think it's just because it's not angled in a certain way. So let me mess with it. She's not really a Halloween character. And if I do redo her, it's gotta be relevant to whatever changes I'm gonna do to World Gates. Like, there's a ton of changes because a lot of the lore has been revised for ever since iHat got moved over to World Gates' lore and universe and all that. And so a lot of things gotta get updated and changed to be more relevant. And then there's just like a few things that I feel need to be changed. Same thing for Buckle. Like, there are just stuff that I feel doesn't fit anymore. Because a lot of things back then when I was making that stuff was just kind of like there was some coordination and organization, but not a lot. And I feel that once I started doing iHat True Ending, that I started to get more organized with how I wanted their world and certain character stories and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of stuff is getting retconned now. So like anything prior to iHat True Ending is being revised. Not everything, like obviously there'll be stuff that I'll keep and stuff like that, but I won't know until I get around to it. Oh yeah, your tall ass is gonna need extra room. I'll get around to that in a moment. But yeah, I think it's just after I started working on True Ending that I realized what I wanted. Or I just, got in a more comfortable state. Because there's like characters that don't need to be there anymore, that were just like either badly designed or just lost relevance. And then some characters shouldn't be in the same area as others, type of thing. Like logically. That's why when I revised how Skylar got his food abilities, I made it so that he didn't interact with Daylock, who is the devil, because realistically, she wouldn't even give a shit about him dying. Because she's a god. And people die all the time, so why would she glance at him? Even if it wasn't his predestined time, she still wouldn't care. So just stuff like that just needed to be reworked, which is why things changed. Yeah, like Gretchen got a huge rework because when I did that chapter, that was still before True Ending became a thing, and I just kind of threw in a random vampire goth pig woman, and I don't even think she was like an actual vampire back then. I think I just made her like that just for the hell of it. She might have been goth, she might have been a vampire, whatever the hell I was thinking of, it just wasn't really like put together. And then it wasn't until afterwards that I was like, alright, I'm gonna make her a whatever they're called for vampires, having like a servant that they allow to walk in the day type of thing. I think it's like a draw or something like that. I connected that with Chui Chui, which reason why she's named that way is because of a bad joke I came up with when I was in high school. She's an extremely old character, but she got, funny enough, Chui Chui didn't really get reworked too much. Like, her design is the same as back then, but like her role as the vampire queen became a thing back when I started doing the card game, because originally she was supposed to be like the daughter of a rabbit king and a dragon queen, and that was a whole thing. And then like it was just this whole thing, this weird ass story that I came up with in high school, and then she got role changed into being the vampire queen, and then that's when Gretchen got thrown into that, because it's like, well, if Cece is the vampire queen, then she controls vampires. And then that's a whole thing. Where did the username Viro... Well, I had the name Viro ever since I was like 12 or 13, maybe even younger than that. And that was just a name I liked. I don't know where exactly I came up with that part. Veteruscy is a bit of a slight in-joke, or it's not really a pun, but yeah, like a slight in-joke, because it comes from a character, it's like partially from a character from No More Heroes, whose name is Harvey Wojciechowicz Wolodarski, and so the last part of that, I just made Veteruscy, just because of that slight reference, and then that's how I came up with that name. So Viro I've had for ages, Veteruscy came years after that. And then I just put them together in there, had a character name. Alright, so I need to make this bigger. It's either that or make you smaller. I'm just gonna go for bigger. I'll probably need to make the canvas bigger too for her tail. So hopefully this is enough. If it's not, we'll get to it later. Oh yeah, it is just random nonsense. Like most of my designs and naming and whatever else I've done. Like how iHat wasn't originally supposed to be, or at least not the first story, wasn't supposed to be Waking themed. That was a whole other idea that I'll save for later. Or like originally each chapter of I Have Volume 1 was going to be a day. And this was before I thought anything further. Like, the original idea was that with Marcy and Skylar was that each chapter was going to be a day, because all of that story was supposed to take place within a week. And it was going to end with Marcy becoming like just like a mindless glutton, and something happens which ends up with Skylar getting eaten by Marcy, and Marcy is like so mind broken by that point that she doesn't even notice that she ate him. But Blake changed all that, so so we don't have to worry about that idea. Because the moment I made Blake, I was like, yeah, let's rethink this now. Because I got so fucking interested in Blake. And so I decided to just rework some of that. And then it wasn't until True Ending that I really got into reworking how things were going to be. Imagine that time. I mean, both were gonna happen anyway. One just happened sooner than the other. And again, all of this kind of happened faster than originally planned, all because I couldn't read the comic Hetty. So if that didn't happen, who knows where the hell I would have been comic-wise. Alright, let's get your Giga Thighs. Yeah, Marcy and Skylar becoming a thing at all was just because I couldn't read Hetty. Because again, they were not planned. I was originally a completely different story with completely different characters, and only one of them is in like in some of the sketches in the special edition. Well, so Kentucky caused the destruction of the old world, so she's likely to be able to survive it, and she's just kind of chilling right now, lore wise. No, she does not have extra arms. Vines, I would say no, but she does have like plant-like growths that appear when she feeds. And she does have a tail with a stinger on it. Or it's not really a stinger, it's more of a needle because it drains fluids. Or a syringe. Yeah, let's tweak your leg to look more like a leg. Oh, first form cell was peak. After that, you just look lame. Personally. Kind of like what happens to Morrow. Morrow's first form was peak. And then his other forms were just like, why? We still gotta redo our midsection. And this bitch is tall. You do not want her looming over you. It's worse if she's looming over you because all it's gonna do is just make her more hungry. Because she knows she can take you. It's literally just her sizing you up at that point. I'll likely be making more tweaks as we go along, but I'll be sticking to the design that I gave her for the art set. Take your time. She probably doesn't need the ones in the back. ones in front are fine. Because the ones around her thighs make more sense. And probably need to angle her leg more inward. Because she's kind of got the whole chicken leg thing. Where it's like super thick on top and then bony in the middle, or towards the end. So it'd be like this, and then the rest of her thick thighs will be outward. And then depending on how I go about this, I think I'll have her standing on her toes. That'll look a little bit more menacing. This character is a clear villain. She's not good. She is not good. She is literally the whole like, I'm gonna look at you and think about how I'm gonna eat you. Although this part should probably be lower if we're going off of that leg. Hold on. Erase all of this so I can have a clear thought about it. So this would be about here. This would probably be a little bit more like this. And then that. And there we go. Welcome back. I mean, you can feel however you want about her. You can call her a thick mommy if you want. I'm just saying she's not good. That's it. Anything else after that is completely on you. Do want to get this right. And you know somebody out there, despite her being a killing machine or a predator or whatever the hell you make of her, someone's gonna want to try to bang her. And if we go off of Mantis logic, that's kind of like a coin flip there. Actually, let's give her like another appendage that goes over here. Because why not? really don't like the way I did this part. That's better. I think it's just because this part looks like an ankle and I'm not thinking about it as a regular toe or leg. Oh yeah, definitely. Someone's gonna go like, I can fix her. I think your best shot is playing on her maternity side, and that's about it. To prevent her from attempting to kill you. But even then, that doesn't sound like a permanent solution. Feels like more is just buying you some time, and that's about it. Unless she just really likes you. But I'm sure if you piss her off at some point, she'll just eat you. Not even have an argument. She probably wouldn't care. You'd have a better time calling her mommy and then basically trying to get her protection from something than anything else. That's like the slim scenario you could possibly be in for her to not kill you. And even then, it's still like not 100%. Because she might still just eat you later. If she's in the mood. You know, it's better to just avoid her. Avoid her, period. Period, the end. Like, why chance it if you don't even know what the fuck she's gonna do? And then she's just roaming around the fucking jungle or wherever the hell she's at naked. So clearly she doesn't care about anything. And she just hunts whatever the hell she's hungry for and drains their fluids. And then again, she's glowing, she's constantly glowing, so that's more of a warning sign than anything. It's both a warning and a lure, because it's like, oh, what's that glowing thing? And then you get closer to her, and then you regret coming towards her. Because the moment she's aware that you're there, she's likely gonna stalk you. And she doesn't even have to, like, do anything. She just has to stalk you long enough for you to just, you know, get tired and try to sleep. And then it's just a matter of if she kills you that night or not. It's almost like that story of a hiker who was just like he was hiking from like I forget where. It was like an incredibly long distance. It was like several miles. I think it was like a 10-mile hike or something like that. And he was just walking normally. And then I believe he came across two people wearing white robes. And they didn't really say anything to him. And they kind of just passed him by and he just kept walking. And then at some point he turns around and he notices that those people are following him. And they're just walking at like a normal pace and all that. And he doesn't think anything of it. So during one of the nights that he's walking, or during his hike, he hears people walking around his campsite. And I think he like put down like normal like traps and stuff like that, or like alarms to kind of indicate if there was like an animal or something. And those people kind of like either avoided his alarms completely, or tore them down. I think they completely avoided them somehow. And then like the next morning, the guy's like all paranoid now because he like heard all this noise at night but didn't see anybody. And then he's like continuing his hike, and then turns around and sees the people following him again. And this time he like runs for like the longest time trying to avoid them, and like by the time it gets night, he like goes off the trail to try to avoid being seen at night. And he doesn't like start a fire or anything. He just makes a campsite and then he's like just chilling for the night. And then somehow they fucking find him still. And this time they get a little bit more aggressive with their visit. And again, like nothing happens. And so the next day, the guy just fucking books it and finally gets to like a town, and then he's like safe. But like that entire time, he was just like super paranoid because he's like, how the hell did these people, you know, catch up to him when he like ran, and he could tell that they weren't running after him. They were just walking at a brisk pace, and then suddenly they're fighting him. You make an awful lot of really mean people when I make a couple of... I have tons of nice characters. You just don't see them very often. I mean, Ray J is a nice character. She's just homeless. But yeah, this character, she would definitely just stalk you until you get tired. And then it's just a coin flip on whether or not she eats you. If she's built up enough hunger by the time she catches up to you, or if she like had a snack prior. Although she's not opposed to overeating. And this character isn't necessarily evil, like she's in the villain role, but only because she's a villain to whoever she's stalking. She's just acting naturally. Because she doesn't live in society, so she just acts the way she would in nature. She has some social skills here and there. But mostly because she came from society but decided to just go live the land. Which is saying a lot when she lives in a world with like fucking supernatural demons and stuff like that. So her being willing to stay out in the world and deal with that 24/7 says a lot about her and her survival skills. And probably like the main creatures of the world kind of probably avoid her too, just to not deal with her. It's like, okay, we could probably nuke her if we really wanted to, but we're just gonna avoid having a fight with her, or just a confrontation with her in general. Like, she's not like a powerful demon or supernatural creature or anything. She doesn't have any like energy powers or anything like that. She's just natural, you know, predator prey type of scenario. My style is more inspired by Sonic, with like a dash of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like Sonic, Yu-Gi-Oh. God, it's been a long ass time since I had to think about this, but definitely Sonic. A little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, mostly the eyes. Obviously Marvel Comics because I grew up with all that, and I have no idea. I'm sure there's more because I like robotic stuff too and all that. It's just like a plethora of things, but Sonic is definitely number one. You gotta make another member of Tuscan's tribe, or why would they have to be fat? And plus, Tuscan lives in the city. He doesn't give a shit about his tribe. If I did make more of his tribe, it wouldn't have anything to do with him. Okay, so gonna have to redo her middle section in a bit. Get a bit of her inner thighs going. Alright, let's see if I can do some of this real quick. She has more of a belly from her hunts. And not everything is fat focused. It may seem that way with me, but that's just because that's a lot of the bread and butter stuff. But there is a good chunk of non-weight gain stuff and non-fat stuff that show up. They just go unnoticed for the most part. Unless the character's like thick or people want to bang him. Whichever comes first. Comes first. Anyway. But if another character from his tribe did show up, whatever story is involved in that will be its own. Their weight is irrelevant. Sides kind of open like this. She is definitely a more plump. And she's more on the plump side just because she has, like, no challenge when she hunts. She can pretty much eat whatever she wants. Should probably up a little bit more. And there could be some slight, like, evolution to her, like maybe she didn't originally look like this when she first started living in the jungle, or living in nature. Boobs would be a little bit smaller than this. If you ever made a Jewelry King character, they would put on all of someone else's or just go around wearing it themselves. Well, so far I haven't made a Jewelry King character, unless you count Veteruscy with his collection. But that's like a different thing. But I have not focused on that. At least not yet. It'll be pretty obvious when I have a character that's like that, and I, you know, put it in their bio to further clarify. Yeah, trying to give her like a slightly different body type. Still don't like the way I did her breast though. I think I might have just made them too low. It's supposed to be a little bit more like this. There's like her midsection is a little bit segregated. Because she has like traits of plant and bug, so like she has like some segmented areas and then some areas just kind of blend together organically the way a plant would. There we go. Alright, have a good day. I still need to do the rest of her torso, her upper body. I'm not gonna draw her nips or her bits because I mean, I'm in this weird spot because YouTube's rules does allow nudity as long as it's not erotic, but it's hard to tell what the hell that means because they're super vague with their rules. And plus, everybody is different, because anybody can be aroused by anything. So I was like, what does that even mean? But logically, I should be fine drawing her bits because she's not being drawn in an erotic way. If World Gates could have a video game, it would be an RPG. It'd basically be Final Fantasy style. Preferably turn-based. Okay. Getting closer to working on her upper body. Finally, going back up here. That's her chin. And this is all her natural body, like she's not wearing an outfit. She just naturally looks this way. If she was in like some back alley or whatever, she would just be some towering, shadowy figure. Well, can't even say shadowy figure because bits of her are glowing. But she'd definitely be a presence. But if she was in the city trying to do all this shit, she would definitely get caught. It'd probably take a while, but she would definitely get caught. Unless she goes to like the lesser, like the more poverty-based areas, she could probably do better. I don't like the position of that. But even then, there's like gonna be a point where her actions aren't gonna go unnoticed for much longer. Okay, so we're gonna have to move this over because this is supposed to go on the side of her face. So you go about here. Oh no, she lives in the forest because she just kind of left society. That's cool that you played more of Deltarune. I'm glad that he made like an alternate version of Undertale instead of just making more Undertale. Because Undertale was like pretty much perfect the way it was. There wasn't really much else that needed to be added, that needed to be tweaked with. And so Deltarune is like a good alternative because it's like, okay, here's more of the characters, but they're in an alternate timeline or alternate universe. It's like you get the best of both worlds. Yes, this is Pfalum. Just pronounce it with an F. It's easier that way. Do some crunches. She'd probably eat you if she heard you if she heard you teasing her. Yes, because she has a tail with a syringe-like stinger at the end, so she'll drain your bodily fluids and then eat the rest. The way I described her is like she's like the equivalent of a bear that just walks into a beehive because the bees can't do anything about it. And the bear just eats whatever it wants. Of course, if she were to encounter a bear, she would eat the bear. Might be a bit of a challenge, but she could pull it off if she's smart about it. El Gallo Dash? Probably not. Nope. Never heard of this person, nor watched their stuff. To add insect sections on fat. Well, it's almost like a honey ant with her. Might want to tweak this spot just a little bit. This would probably be a little bit more plump. And then this would probably ease in more. This part of her leg needs to be a little bit more squeezed. It's like she has thigh squish even though it's her own natural body. Because it's like her body type wasn't exactly designed to put on a lot of weight. So it has to accommodate. Eyelashes. And then the dark parts around her eyes because they're segmented. And she has a rather long tongue. Oh yeah, yeah. That definitely needs to be curved up. I think I noticed something was wrong, and then I got distracted and moved on to something else. And I had meant to fix it. Because I was looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, I need to fix that, and then something happened and I got thrown off. They would look the same because they don't really need changes. Like, Vagra got redrawn recently, and the only thing I really tweaked on her was just making it more clear that she's an insect and not entirely wearing armor. But yeah, like, those two don't really need changes at all. If anything, maybe just make Hachi less lean because he does look a little bit too thin in terms of like his stance. But ultimately, he just needs to. He's pretty much fine as he is. And that's more like how I was drawing at the time, because I had the bad habit of making characters look stretched out. And that was just because of the way I was holding my clipboard when I was drawing. Okay, now how do we do this about her arm? I should probably put this on a different layer. Sad part is we're still like nowhere near done drawing her. Because we still gotta do her wing-like appendages, whatever these things are supposed to be, and then her tail. She has some long-ass arms too, so I gotta tweak this. This is why we did this on a different layer, because I knew this would be a problem. Yeah, why do you think I gave her so much space? Because we're not even near being done with her design. So her arm would be about here. Trying to take her being turned to the side into account. So it'd be about there, I think. I knew some parts of this would end up getting erased. Never licking her claw. Oh no. Yeah. That's why. So we're going to adjust her arm a bit. So let me draw it the way I want to draw it, and then we can tweak it after the fact. Because I'd prefer to her to be licking her claw like this. But if we have to do it a different way, that's fine. Because her elbow's about here, so this would have to be about there. So yeah, have to adjust where her claw is pointing. Luckily, her claw is segmented, so it makes it much easier to mess with. So we can maybe do it this way. But we might have to tweak it more. I can make this work. The question is, do I want to? Because I don't want to erase certain features that I like. Copy and paste the arm, no. Like I could have, but that wasn't what I was aiming at. So I probably shorten it just a little. Bring it over here, and then I can move, have that arm move out a little bit. Okay, this is about as good as it's gonna get in terms of having her lick her claw. And then her thumb will be over here. Thank you. Yeah, you can see why characters like this don't show up very often from me. Because imagine me having to make a comic about this bitch. I'd be happy when I only have to draw like her upper body a lot of the time. But then when I gotta draw her like risque shots, then it's gonna be like, oh hell. This is why Becky has a limited use, because she's overly complicated as well. Not that it's her fault that she's overly complicated. But she definitely falls into my bad habit of doing that. This will probably be out more. We'll fiddle with that in a moment. This just needs to be tweaked. Because I have a lot of older characters who are like stupidly designed. Because even though I wanted to use them in comics, I wasn't planning on how their designs would affect that idea. So I have a lot of characters that are like stupidly designed, like in terms of like over too many details, and then it's like, okay, good luck, bitch, when you use them in the comics. And I'm like, fuck. I've gotten used to it, but still, it's one of those things that you should definitely think about when you design a character. It's like, okay, cool, you made your character look awesome, but do you plan on drawing that over and over and over and over again? And if you are planning to do it, then more power to you. We can adjust this a bit. Exactly, it's like, look asshole, look what you did. I'm like, fuck. Like Becky, it's like, oh yeah, so you drew a character with a bunch of different animal parts. Good for you. Oh wait, you added textures to that too? Good, dumbass. Now you gotta fucking pay attention to that forever. Unless you just decide not to. But then you're gonna feel like a total cheap fuck for not doing it. So, good luck with that. Like, for a good chunk of the Ask the Cast, if you look at Skylar, he usually has his scale textures on. And it wasn't until, like, I don't know, somewhere near the end or something like that, where I decided to stop doing that. Because it made no sense to do it on flat colors. Or on flat pages. So I just stopped doing that after a certain point. So I tend to do that often. And it's only when I'm in a state of like, hey dumbass, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. And then I stop doing it. Well, a sane person wouldn't make their comics as stupidly detailed as I do, despite, you know, slightly cheaping out on backgrounds here and there. A smart person would just go either full flat color or go cel shaded, and not the method that I use. That is what a sane person would do. Me, on the other hand, have not reached that moment of clarity, because I don't want the comics to look like shit. At least my personal view of looking like shit. So at some point I will snap and make comics easier to do by making them flat color, probably just flat color, because cel shading just kind of defeats the point. But who knows, maybe it'll be a blend of things. Creamfield is this flat color because it was in this weird middle ground of like being a side thing, but then it became more of like a signature thing where it's like the characters themselves are flat colored, but everything else is not. When things get serious, but it's kind of like or that they become more detailed when things get serious. So it's kind of like a mix of the two. Meanwhile, a character like Marcy in Philpool, peach fur color. Watch Scream fill up done. Yeah, exactly. Marcy's pretty damn simple. It's like, oh, you want to draw Marcy naked? Just make a big fatty cat, color her peach, give her brown hair, color her eyes, and you're done. And then, you know, whatever minor details, but that's about it. She's stupidly easy. Skylar is only complicated because of the fucking stripes on his belly and neck. Or like the stripes on him for his stomach section and all that. And then maybe his horns. That's about it. Blake is rather easy unless you count her scars. Tiffany's is dumb easy. Even with her fur, she's still simple. Maybe her hair is like the most complicated thing on her. But that's about it. Jam is really easy, that's why I tend to draw her a lot. Alright, so move this arm a bit. I feel I listened to this earlier in the stream and now just played these songs again and completely forgot that I had played this until this song started. And I was like, wait, didn't I hear this earlier in the stream? Oh well, fuck it. Joanne is easy until you get to her fucking stomach. And then you just want to cry. I've kind of made it figured out how to make it easier over time. But still, and it wouldn't be so bad had I not been stupid and made the bottom part of her belly have fucking diamond spikes on it, because then it just made things 10 times harder, like the dumbass I am. Of course, now I've made things a little bit easier by figuring out what to color on her and what not, or like, you know, how to color those areas easier than I used to, but still, like back then it was like, why did I do that? I would have never noticed the songs were looping. I don't even know if I looped them or not. I don't know if I'm just assuming that was the case or I could be wrong. But if they did loop, then I'm like, oh well, I like the song anyway. Okay, I think we can turn things back on, but first we gotta delete whatever is around her arm. That is not the selection I wanted to make. There we go. Invert. Do this. And then we will fix whatever needs fixing. Like, I have no idea how long it took me to draw this character when I drew her for the collection set. All I knew is I spent a good chunk of time on her initial design and the fucking green parts on her. Because you can't color those normally. You have to do them by section. It's like, so what was going on through your mind when you made this character? I don't know, thick thighs and a plump belly. That was kind of it, really. So why did you overly design her? I don't fucking know. I feel her stomach needs to be a little bit more round in this area. Just seemed kind of too straight. There we go. Just seemed a little bit off. Okay, I definitely played this OST earlier. Unless I just really know the lyrics of this song and I think I heard it already. Oh well. Sonic always has good music anyway, for the most part. Like 99% of the time. Okay, so got all that. Got that. Let me take a look at her from afar. Yeah, she's slightly tilting. Now to draw her fucking wings and tail. The tail is gonna be it. Like, the tail isn't hard, but it's like... it's in that realm of being hard just because of a certain point. And you just want to cry. And then you have the sudden realization that nobody else is gonna fucking draw this character except for me. And that'll be my eternal pain. The timeline where instead of Marcy, he drew this super detailed fucking character for her place for 5 fucking chapters and endings. If only you could do something about it, if only. No. I know there's an answer to that, but I also thought of another answer, and the answer to that answer is no. And then the answer to your answer is also no. I will deal with this pain forever. And because I know nobody will ever listen to this goddamn song ever in the history of time. Okay, how are we doing this? Do that. And we do this. If only you could do something about it. If only. It's almost like Charlie and the Unicorn type of voice. It's like, Charlie! If only you could do something about it! Yeah! You're like, oh, just kill me or something. What's this song called? I have no fucking idea because it's from a game called Chameleon Twist 2. If there is a playlist or a description of everything, I will let you know. But the soundtrack is from Chameleon Twist number 2. And yes, at some point they made a sequel to Chameleon Twist. Because everybody knows timestamping for the VOD. Oh god, what are you timestamping? Why? I had to think about it for a moment. I thought you were talking about the music. I was like, oh wait, I just did the fucking thing later. This is why I don't talk. This is why I don't talk. I could just stay invisible, like when I was in fucking middle school. My history teacher didn't even fucking know I was in her class, despite me sitting directly in front of her. And that was a funny conversation to have. Actually, this should be a little bit further up. Would this be more plump? What color did I even make this? Okay, yeah, I did do that. I could make this a little bit rounder, just so it fits where it's supposed to go. There we go. Talks like a unicorn. God damn it. But yeah, if you're interested in the music, it's from Chameleon Twist 2. Chameleon Twist was actually really fun. I enjoyed that game. And then when they made a sequel, I was like, oh neat, and I played that too. Back when Blockbuster was a thing. That was like 1,000 years ago or something. You know, it's just gonna be interesting making up lore after a certain point because of the internet. It's like, oh yeah, the Nintendo 64, that was back when the dinosaurs were still around. Actually, you could say that for the Nintendo. Just like the regular NES. Or the Atari. Still blows my mind that the person who owns Atari made fucking owns Chuck E. Cheese. It's like, isn't that just something to think about? Okay, yay! Did her wing, and I'm gonna be a cheap bitch and copy and paste this shit. Not that it's gonna help me much, because I still gotta angle it right. And it would also help if I didn't have... Wait, why did it stretch that far? Hold on. Why is it this long? What the hell? What the hell is over there that it needs to grab something? Hold on. Select. There's nothing over there. Why is it stretched that far? Yeah, see, it goes like all the way over here. Why? You know what? I'm not even gonna question it. I'm just gonna accept it. I'm just gonna select what I actually want and delete whatever the fuck is outside of there. And then pray to the heaven. Okay, cool. It's like, what the hell was out there? Phrasing, I don't even know what the hell I said. Something about being a cheap bitch, I don't know. I honestly don't recall what I said. I just said a bunch of shit all at once. Okay, I think that's good enough of what I need. It's like phrasing, it's like, shit, what did I say? I said like 50 things in like 2 minutes. So let's combine these two together. Figure out what the hell I'm doing with this. You, why is this a thing? You better be okay. I was about to fucking say. Looks like I have a new stream hobby now. God damn it! I mean, sitting there going like, "The hell did I even say?" Usually, I pick up on innuendos, but I'm too busy being invested in this to be paying attention. Okay, we want to delete the inside, I guess. Also, note to self, whatever is up here I need to close because this fucking antenna gets selected. Yes, I was like, that's what I wanted, right? Like, yes, the answer is yes. And we should be good. And I see that there's this big gaping fucking hole up here that I didn't fucking notice. Fix this a bit. Clean this a bit so it looks nicer. Probably add a little bit of line to this so that it fits the spot more. Okay. Shade underneath her chin. Now for her goddamn tail. I would love to steal. You know what? I might steal from her other artwork just so I don't have to draw this. But I can't show it on stream, so hold on a moment. Or, yeah, no, I definitely cannot show it on screen. I had to think about that for a moment. Alright, so hold on a second. You. Close for a moment. Where's your file? Thank you. Let's turn all of this off so I can fucking see. I am going to steal your tail. Watch me go through all of this and I still end up doing something else just to accommodate. Copy. Paste. I said paste. Motherfucker. Copy. Paste. Thank you. Jesus fuck. Alright, now I can turn it back on. There we go. Why is this not locked? There we go. And why are you still up there? Alright. Here's her tail. It technically has... No, I'm gonna keep that there. It technically has some blur on it, but I can mess with that later. The question is, does this fit what I want out of this? Kinda, sorta, maybe. Okay, so the upper part of her ass would be over here. Tail should be about there. So about here. Let's erase what we don't need. I will do this on this layer, so that way. It'll make more sense. This would have to be a little bit thinner, so let's erase about here. About here. And let's fix that. Just gotta delete it from this one. All right. And then she'd probably have like one more back here. A little bit higher up. There we go. Okay, and I think her head is a little bit more wider. So let's adjust this a bit because of her cheeks. She seemed a little bit too round. Yes, yes it is. I could go... Hold on. Yeah, because it's slightly blurred because of what I normally do. So I could blur her too. And just kind of semi-do it the hard way. So that way they're both consistent. So I might have to do that method. It makes things harder in the future if I need to edit something, but should be fine. Yeah, I don't think I need to do anything crazy. Let me just go over it just to make sure I get any details that I might be missing. Basically for like when she overeats and like she gets full, so basically they fill up with leftover fluids that she hasn't eaten yet, and she can absorb them later or pull them off if she wants and eat it that way. So it's more about like her just optimizing what she's doing, and since she's part plant, then she would like, it's almost like making fruit if you think of it that way. But for her, it's like fluid sacs, or originally the idea was that they would fill up with blood when she drains it from her prey. But it could be like just like whatever fluid she converts it to as well. But that was the idea of making it that way. Yeah, because she is part plant, so that would make sense. Alright, so I think I got everything I wanted to draw on her. Oh wait, she's missing this part of her thigh. Missing this thorn. Alright. Okay, I think I got everything. Going over it again before I move on. Doing light touch-ups. Can kind of clean this up a bit. So the line is not so harsh on her. And looking at her other artwork. Alright, think we're good. So I'm gonna do this on slight hard mode, like converting her line art. And then change this to normal, fuse them together, multiply. Alright. So technically doing this on hard mode because certain parts of her are blurred, so that's probably gonna be a pain in the ass later, but we'll see. I am not looking forward to coloring her green parts. There's not a lot of them, but it's still a pain in the ass. And then as I'm doing this, the back of my mind is like, what did we learn? And I said nothing, because I'm just gonna do this shit again. Or not even that, it's like, we learned nothing because we're gonna have to draw this character again at some point. If she shows up in a comic. Then I'm just gonna dread every moment of it, but like fuck. And I'm gonna be trying to devise what can I get away with before I eventually have to draw her full body in whatever alluring pose that she's gonna be in. Well, only like one part of her is actually hard, and that's just the green parts. Because they're the way they're shaded, they have to be in a segment type of scenario. And then because of the way I did her line art, I have to pay attention to certain coloring methods. Like this, for example, I just selected this, but it didn't select everything because it's blurred. And that's going to be a pain in the ass in the future. Probably not as much as I'm assuming, but I know it's going to be a factor at some point. Oh yeah, I should probably shrink down some of this later. Alright, so let's do this. And that's when I have to think about whether or not I grabbed the right folder of her colors, because it might have that tint on her. Okay, hold on. I gotta blank this out for a moment. Turn that off, turn that off. This has that. Turn that off. Turn that off. You can be turned off because we don't need you. Don't need you either. Alright, so what's the best way to go about this method? Because this has all the colors I need. Minus the fucking tail. Anyway. How are we doing this? Oh, okay. I can do it that way. So file, exports. I will put this over here. I'll just call this colors for now. Alright. Close. Turn this back on. Okay. Good lord. The amount of work I have to go into for this one fucking character. Luckily it won't be like this in the future, but damn. Okay, moment of truth. Are her colors fucked? And it looks like the answer is yet. Well, especially this part right here. What the hell happened there? But that has nothing to do with colors, that's with line art. So let's fix this. Okay, anyway, looks like I gotta take this and push it out one more time. Maybe one more, just in case. Is that too much, though? Might be. It's hard to tell. Hold on. No, I think this is just enough. If I gotta do it again, I'll do it again. So, delete that. We should be good now. Oh, you want to know the funny part? The Underground Collector's artwork is her first artwork. This is the second time that she's being drawn, and this is her profile art. So let that sink in for a moment. And the same thing happened with Ray J. And technically with Helena, but she just had line art. It wasn't, or like a torso line art, so she wasn't even like fully solidified as a design. But with Ray J and Pfalum, they were drawn as collector's art before they had regular art. Because I am so smart and I did it that way. God, I am dreading the green parts on her already. It's like I don't wanna. I'm gonna save that for last. Damn, she thick. Yes, she is. She a thick, tall bitch. Debating on if she's taller than Viro or as tall. I mean, there are plenty of characters taller than Viro, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to make her taller than him. He could still kill her though, easily, if they ever had the fight. Luckily, that won't be a thing. There is zero reason for her to be in a conflict with him. He just looked at her and he's like, yeah, I could take her. Do... A belly like that deserves to be rubbed. Oh, she'll be rubbing it after she's had her fill. Of whoever her victim ends up being. Tummy rubs is not lost on her. I will say she definitely becomes more feral after being out in the wild for an extreme amount of time. And she like kind of sort of forgets how to socialize to a degree. Let's do this twice. And now for the oh so fun part of making sure the line art is properly filled because of the way I did this. But first, we gotta make sure the socks are shaded. I might have to select them individually. Go. So yeah, the moral of the story is now don't mess with Pfalum. Just avoid her. Cause she's gone feral. If you think you can bet her, good luck. Maybe you'll get lucky. And she'll let you live. But you better know how to wow her if she's gonna be considering that. And she's not a queen or anything, she's just a basic bitch species. Or maybe I can make her like a higher species or something, or that she's a one of a kind or something, I don't know. I can make her be full on, just full feral and not have any social skills at all. I'll think on that as I'm continuing to finish her up. Just be completely feral and not have any social skills, and you have to like explain shit to her. Feeding her is out of the question. I mean, if you feel like feeding yourself to her, sure. Getting her prey might help, assuming she doesn't feel threatened that you're doing the hunts for her when she enjoys hunting. The queen next. We'll decide if she's like the one of a kind or whatever rank she is. She's already a mixed breed, so gotta figure out that whole scenario. I'll feed my worst enemy's hand to her. I mean, a hand is not gonna do much. She wants the whole damn thing. As far as she's concerned, most of society is just walking blood bags. Or fluid bags, whatever the case may be, because she can drain pretty much whatever. She does drink water still, because of the plant part. But she's not opposed to blood. Let's... She'll just look at you and be like, "Oh, you have a lot of blood." Cum bags. I mean, she'll be sucking that up too, so whatever. Is it something she can drain from you? She'll probably take it. Now, getting her to take it in other ways than with her tail or mouth is the difficult part. You're like, alright, how am I supposed to survive this woman? Good luck. Thank you. Alright, so I think I got all the pink parts. Yeah. Next is purple. And then the dreaded green. God, look how long it took just to do her fucking line art. That was like almost the whole stream. It's been a long time since I played Chameleon Twist 2, and this music just sounds like a sand level. Like an Arabian sand level. Or maybe Egypt. Either way, it's a sand level. Sand! It's everywhere. Get used to it. It's moments like this I think, should I have colored her purple first for the base and then went with the pink? But now I'm like, I don't think it matters on this character. Either way, everything on her is difficult. This character is pain. See, this is why I won't take commissions, because now that I've said that, at some point somebody would commission her, and I just hate them forever. It's like, oh yeah, I want to commission her, and I'm like, fuck you. It's like when people wanted to commission Becky, and I just went like, why? Like, why would you do that? Sandworms, you hate them, right? I hate them myself. Sad part is I know I'm not getting a good chunk of this because of how her line art is. So this is the ups and downs of doing certain things to line art, because then you gotta do special treatment later down the line. And I made 10 minutes worth of frames with this game. If I were to animate her, I'd just be fucking doing a parody of Cell draining somebody and just having her do something similar. Only that she'd get like a engorged belly or whatever after the fact. And maybe like the fruit things or whatever on her tail would swollen up. And I see more parts of her that I need to color. We'll do that later. You know what? I'm just gonna go for the easy stuff, and we can double back to the hard stuff. And I need to delete that. Good lord, this woman. Bright side is, now that we've drawn her with a better profile and all that, it'll be easier to draw her in the future. Downside is drawing her in the future. I could totally see her like having a conversation with me. He's like, "Why do you hate me, Daddy?" I'm like, "I don't hate you. I hate how I made you. I hate the methods I took to make you. I don't hate you yourself." Don't worry, she just won't be popular. She'll be popular for weird reasons. I don't know what those weird reasons would be, but she'd be popular for weird reasons. I mean, there's already the whole cell tail fetish thing. Because that's a thing. Everything is a thing. I still laugh when friends or acquaintances of friends or whatever ask me what I do, and I tell them, and they're like, "Wait, people are into that?" And I'm like, "Yes, people are into everything. It does not matter what it is." And they like try to name off a few things. I'm like, "Yes, if it exists, there's porn of it. It's actually an internet rule." And they try wrapping their heads around that. Having nothing to do with their hips. Oh yeah, I should probably grab this and fill in the spots that I saw earlier before I forget. Let me erase this little spot. There's an entire American Dad episode about it. Yes. So if there's anything to be learned from this, really think about when you make a crazy design of a character. Especially if you intend to make comics of that character. Because if you don't think about this, you will hate yourself in the future. Right now, she's not being drawn for comics. That's Future Me's problem. And when the time comes, Future Me will say, "I hate you, past me." Dun -dun. Fucking love this song. One of the best songs in the series. Along with E101's theme to go with it. Basically, when she drains somebody and she gets full, they fill up with the leftovers, and she can absorb them later or pull them off of herself to eat them later. Basically, just blood packets or fluid packets that she can snack on later. Goes with her being part plant. Again, I think Sonic Adventure was like the peak era for Sonic, because it's like at the time, of course, like more modern, but it was still like 90s vibe. I mean, Adventure was made in like 99, so that makes sense. It's either 99 or 2000, one of the two. But still, just had the... Well, it wasn't made, it was released in 99. It was made earlier than that. But it just had like the perfect vibes. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it for now. I can shrink her artwork a little bit. But yeah, I'll probably still mess with it off stream. And likely try to finish it up. But yeah, here's most of her initial design. She's just missing obvious parts and all that. But yeah, still got more to do on her. Oh yeah, missed that part of her cuff. There we go. This I barely made a dent in her. So finish her coloring, then do her shading and whatever other effects like drool or something, and then the glow effects on her pink parts. But yeah, oops, sorry, didn't mean to hit the mic. But yep, not that these streams haven't been fun. Yeah, I'm working on the next secrets page. Working on that one and the slice of life. Slice of life is almost done. I just gotta finish drawing Tree Star's parents, and then color that, which won't take long because it's all flat color. And then I'll be working on the next secrets page, which should be the skip to her house where she's gorging up on more food before she's about to take the collar off. So it should be like the page after that. It's either the page after that or the one after that one that she takes the collar off, and then we get to the big fat explosion or whatever we want to call it. 10 years from now, Viro, if you're watching this, it sucks to be. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and I will stream again tonight. Alright.